Okay, I am live. I decided to do this live video because I have so many things to say and so many things to show, but at the same time, I didn't want to prepare all this. I didn't have much time to do it today, so I was like, okay, let's do it live. So, welcome to my channel. If this is your first time, welcome to this video, to this challenge of 20 or of 30 days, 31 days. With tarot, created by the beautiful Idoni. And maybe after this video, I will link her channel just below, so you can find all the prompts, all the questions for this challenge. Also, if you are interested by any of these books, any of these decks, I might add them later on the description box. Yet sometimes I just forget to do it, so please be patient with me regarding that. I will show them to you, so you can also just take a print screen, of the books, so you can find them. Also, the challenge for yeah, all right, the sound is working well, everything is working well. All right, good. So for this, I just remembered to share this video with my Facebook group, Study Your Tarot Deck in 21 Days, so we can catch up together regarding this challenge. All right, so today I wanted to briefly talk about the most anticipated decks for 2020. I have many decks, but for some reason this morning I woke up with that feeling of I have I have so many decks I need to work with already, and I'm starting to feel that, like being overwhelmed by decks and being overwhelmed with all those that I have. So I started, to put some on sale. Um, um, this feeling of being overwhelmed, I got it really this week. I didn't have it really before, but this week it started because I started thinking about all 2020 and what I want to do and what decks should be aligned with what I want, with my objectives. And I find myself like really going back to some decks I love and neglecting some new decks, and I'm like, all right, so maybe I should stop for the moment. So I'll be showing you those I am waiting to receive. I am deck creator also, so there are some decks that just got launched and others on the way to be launched, and that is also something I really it's really something dear to me. It's something really important to me to create my own oracle decks and to share them with people, because they are really aligned with what I am and with what I do. And also, I offer indie decks on my website. Indie decks that I really love. So I bring them and I share them here in Europe. Check that below if you are interested. Hi, Françoise. All right, so let me share with you the screen so I can show you the most anticipated decks that I am waiting for. All right, so I have them here. Okay, so at the moment, like right now, I'm waiting for this deck. It's in the customs. I ordered it not just for me, but also for my shop. So if you are waiting for this deck, please be patient. I might have it maybe within a few weeks. So this deck, of course, the 78 Tarot are beautiful decks. I love the variety they have. I love the different art. Even if, it's not the same art from card to card, for me it doesn't really bother me that much. My most favorite one is the Aquarius. What is it called? The one related to the sea. I forgot the name. I'm sorry, but it's one of the favorites one I use. And this one I feel it would be really interesting also to try and meet with the beings that they are there. This type of decks are really wonderful if you want to do some they work with deities, or some work with goddesses, or some work with some beings, for astral travel. Also, it's really interesting, this deck. So this one is one of my favorite ones that I'll be waiting for. The second one is Materia Prima, an expression of matter tarot by Usi. Probably their tarot deck, the pagan other words tarot. I'm so bad with names, but it's one of my favorite tarot decks. And when I saw this project, I was like, yeah, of course, I'm gonna try this. It's something really, I would say, strange and not usual, but at the same time, I believe that decks are a teaching tool. So if I don't know that much about these materials or these beings, because I believe really that these are beings coming from stars or something like that, so I want to learn more about them. And decks, especially oracle decks, I don't believe tarot decks is a teaching tool relating to that, but to this specifically. But oracle decks sometimes are really beautiful teaching tools. The next one is the Telluric Tarot, the beautiful Telluric Tarot. I am so much waiting for this one because, as you might know, I am passionate about trees, about flowers. I work with them as spiritual beings. And this one, it's like the work to, put into this work, combining crystals, combining plants, and there is watercolor, there is these beautiful colors. I mean, it's really beautiful. It comes and it speaks really to my heart, and I'm so impatient to have it for 2020. The next deck I am waiting for is the Nameless one. So the creator has already another deck that that was created. I think it's called the Lita Tarot, but I wasn't really that much interested by this deck, by that deck. But this one speaks somehow to me, and I feel it's really strong. I feel it like it would be really interesting to use for spells or something like that, for rituals. So yeah, I'm really impatient to see more artists receive it. It will be by the end of the year, as you might see. It's for December 2020, but yeah, it's a beautiful deck that I really want to have and study. The next one is the Saffron Forest Tarot, which I think it is already shipped. If I see the comments or something like that, it's already shipped. It's a picture, and this is something interesting that maybe we can talk about in another video. But pictures-based oracle decks and tarot decks, I find them really interesting to work with, and I will explain how in another video. But this one, it's about forest. The pictures are really as they are, they haven't been worked on. I love the spirit they have put in it. There is some quietness when we see these pictures, and yeah, I'm really impatient to receive it and see how it works well with other decks in the same spirit. And the next one is Couture Tarot. So I think you have seen. If you didn't, please watch my video with the creator. She talks about her deck, about the process of creation, and how it was related to her link with mother and the grief after that. So it's a beautiful creation, and it will be really interesting for dream work, for intuitive work, and for storytelling. Really impatient to get this one, and it's for February 2020. I hope. Maybe it will be around my birthday. We will see, but it's beautiful one I'm waiting for. And the next one, I have many others, but the next one is the one that I am the process of creating. It's about harmonization, or harmony of inside of our inner world and outer world. And it's a beautiful work we have done in a group. A group of people collaborated in this deck. I'm really impatient for it to be launched, probably by March. March. We are working on the guidebook with this deck. So we're really impatient to launch it. So I'm really impatient to have it. There are other decks we are working on. I'm feeling like really I'm being more and more in an editing or editor work, like working and creating decks for this year. And this one is the second one for this year. So we will see what this year will bring to us. Hi, Evelyn. Okay, so she was going to back the Nameless Tarot. It's a beautiful one. I hope I will have it on my shop. Be in tune, and we will see. All right, the next point I wanted to talk about is tarot books. As you might know, if not, that's okay. I read a lot of books, and 2019 was one year that I have read a lot of books about tarot. There are other books that are not here because I didn't finish them or I wanted to review another way. But let me grab another book here. And I forgot to talk about the guidebooks of some tarot decks that are really beautiful. So this is a French book. It's called Histoire de Tarot, the story of tarot. It is the first book I have read in 2019. It's in French, but let me tell you that the pictures, it's a beautiful deck. The colors of this book. Let me see if I can put this camera down so you can see really what I'm talking about. All right, here you go. All right, so this book here is full of beautiful depictions of very, very old tarot decks. And it speaks about the story of tarot, of creation of tarot from the perspective of this writer, Isabelle Nadolny. I think she is a researcher too. She brought a lot of references and all this, but I love this book, but there are many things built on suggestions. And so that's why I didn't review it in my French channel, because I wasn't sure that I really wanted to speak it in a negative way. I don't like speaking about a book in a negative way. I really loved it, but it's like it's really full of presumptions and suggestions, and I didn't like that part, and the other thing that I really don't resonate with is the nationality of tarot. I don't believe that tarot is French or Italian or whatever. I believe like tarot is really international, and it goes beyond space and time, and it brings a lot of teaching. So I don't like closing tarot like within a nationality and saying like, yeah, this is Italian, this is, tarot is creation that have been built up from a country to another country, and even China participated in it, even Arabs participated in it, even every continent in a way for me is participating to create this deck and bring it again and again into life. So tarot is for me is international, and it goes beyond space and time. So this one was it was okay. It was okay. The other book I read is 78 Degrees of Wisdom. It's a reference book. So even if I read some of it, there are some parts that I have left aside because it's a reference book. When I need, for example, to know more about, for example, let's say the page, I will go and look, at what Rachel talked about. But to be honest, I have another book of hers, which is called, where is it? Bible, La Bible du Tarot, or Wisdom to 87 Wisdom Key or Wisdom Keys, something like that. It's the first, it's the first or the second part of this book. I don't remember really the sequence, but the other, I think it's here. Let me see. All right, I have it in French here. This book, I love it. This one is really my favorite regarding. I mean, this one I found it like really mostly beginner probably, but this one goes for me really deeper and it's more personal. You know, we know really what Rashi is talking in a more profound way. I found. All right, next book. This huge book, one of my favorites about tarot. Really, I love it. It's concise, it's really precise, it goes to the information that we want to know, we need to know. It doesn't you don't feel lost in this book. A lot. It's rich, it's a rich book. I love it, especially, I mean, just the beginning. I put so many things here. Every chapter is really full of information. I really love it. It's also a reference book because you will find for each card, 2-3 pages, depending if they are majors or not. If they are minors, you will find like more a page per card. Yes, a page per card. You will find more content. You will find more I'm losing my English today. You'll find more information on the majors. Very, very beautiful book. One of my reference books. I always keep it by my side, and I really love it. Putting it here. All right, next book, and Tarot Interactions, by Deborah Leap. Also a very nice book that I have read the last year. I think I'm gonna just make some reviews because I take notes about each book so I can make a review on it in the future. But I didn't really have time the last year because I had much work to do and I was moving, all this. But I found some really interesting spreads, interesting work to do, interesting things to think about when you do a spread. I found it really interesting. It's easy reading book. It's like you can read it in a week or a month, maybe, depending on your speed, but it's easy. It's an easy book to read. It's a very nice book to have. Which one I want to tell you also. All right, this one by Italy Down. So your tarot court. We have studied court cards last year in our group, and this one was really interesting to explore Italy's vision about the court cards and how that relates to us. There are some parts that really spoke to me and that I really loved. I really loved the way she divided the sections. She talked, there is a big chapter about archetypes, which is really interesting. There are other parts that spoke less to me, it's like, for example, love connections. I don't do readings this way, but it was interesting to know more about them and know what others do with the cards and how they use them. It's really rich. Another book, let me maybe show this. All right, this one, very interesting, very short book, but I found it really interesting, very practical. I mean, if you are looking for practical exercises, something really to use with your cards and to write and to journal and to do spreads and to develop your psychic abilities, this book will be really interesting, easy to read. And I loved it so much that I contacted the author and asked her if I can use her book in a course I have created last year about developing our psychic abilities. I will leave the link below if you want to have a look on that program. We used some exercises from it, and I find it really interesting. I mean, whatever level you have, I found it's really interesting that you go back to some basis things and to, I don't think there is advanced or beginner when you want to develop your psychic abilities more and to refine them. So I really love this book, and I'm keeping it next to me because I have a lot of things yet to experience and to do. Another book that I really, really loved because we studied also, we have done a a tribute month to Pagliadini, the creator, and we have studied the new Pagliadini tarot deck and the Aquarian. And as I am interested in this creator and the decks he uses, and they are one of my favorites, I have found this book called Tarot and You, and the first book of taped tarot card readings. What is beautiful about this deck is that about this book is that you will find readings. I mean, actual readings, true readings, and interactional readings. That means that it's not readings. For example, it's not for those who do readings. Recorded readings or written readings. It's for those who interact with the person, who do some like coaching type. It would be really interesting that you read this book, because it has like, you'll find some spreads, but it has this what we are looking for. It's really like at some time, in some point, you stop looking for what cards mean. You start looking for how people built up their readings. How do they bring that all together to the client, so you can be inspired? I love this because I love seeing how people do readings, because that inspires me. I do not care that much at the point where I am at the moment about the meaning of cards, because everyone will have his own meanings. But the way to bring that message to the client, and how to interact with him, and how to use your cards, how to interact using a tool like cards. We can use any other tools too. We can use drawing, we can use music, we can use dance. But that exchange, that richness we can find in the exchange between the client and the reader. I found it really interesting and deep, especially the last one. The last one was made with Joseph Campbell. Joseph Campbell, the author, and there is like, there are quite a few pages here, around 15 pages. Because the author Richard Roberts made a reading for Joseph Campbell, and Joseph Campbell is very well-known author. It's something really interesting. So if you are interested by this type of books, very quick read and very interesting. And the last book is Tarot Spreads, because someone told me about this book. And I create spreads. I create challenges, tarot challenges, and I create spreads for my sessions and all this. And it's like, I was like, yeah, that would be really interesting to see how we create tarot spreads from the perspective of Barbara Moore, which is really well known. She had made many decks, and I found it really interesting because she gives a structure. She gives you, if you don't know how to create a spread, she gives you the structure, how to do it. If you know how to do it, she will complement, she will give you some ideas on how to make it better, or how to, for example, how the form of the spread or the geometric forms can play in doing spreads. For example, it gives you really many ideas about how you can make a spread. And yeah, it's very easy read, very practical. I really liked it. All right, so that was quick. I'm running, trying to do all this in a short time. All right, so I hope you loved this sharing with you my favorite books and my most expected decks for the next for this next year. We are in 2020, and if you have books that you love, that you want to share, please put them below. I'm looking for books to read. I have got some books to read for 2020, and I'm reading some at the moment. I found myself reading less books about tarot. I don't know why, but maybe I need to change the focus or something like that. So I'm looking for some references, some books to read. If you have them, please share them. What are your most anticipated decks also for 2020? And yeah, I hope to talk to you soon. Bye bye.